Guten Tag, my rats. Hello. I'm not burnt this week. I did my best this weekend to actually not my best. I did the damn thing. No tanning oil, only sunscreen, no sunburns. And even the wicked burn that I had last weekend, the only thing that wound up healing was like the top of my forehead. So your girl is feeling like I have a new lease on life. So there's that. Happy Mother's Day. Shout out to all the moms and mom figures, myself included. I get to be a part of the club now for my second year in a row. Mm. In honor of Mother's Day, I thought what better way to do something honorable than to dedicate episode 16 to all the moms and mom figures out there. Um, Also maybe I just hate myself and make myself want to cry. No, for real though, I do think that it's really important to pay homage to the people who brought us into this world, the people who maybe didn't bring us into this world but became our mothers, our bonus moms, our mother figures, people who stepped in. Like, I think about for me when my mom passed, like the people who weren't necessarily my mom, but stepped up to the plate to kind of handle some of those things that a mom would handle and be there for me in ways that a mom would be, never replacing her, but being there for me. So, yeah. Um and on that note, to me, Mother's Day is all inclusive. So it's not just, oh, you're a mom to like a human being. No, like I'm definitely one of those people, like if you're a dog mom, great, happy Mother's Day. If you're a plant mom, if you're a cat mom, if you're whatever type of mom you want to be, it's your day. I know that a lot of people hate the dog mom stuff, but my dogs made me a mom before my kid did. And my plants, everything, all of these things need nurture and love and basic necessities to grow and thrive and live just like a human being does. So if you're doing those things, why shouldn't you get to celebrate? I don't I don't see why not. Um So let's just get right into it. I do at the end. I'm actually really excited about this. I kind of made like a little, it was like a Google form and sent it out to some people and got some answers on some questions about things about their moms. So I'm excited to share those towards the end. But for now, a little toe shot you guys got there. For now, I just kind of want to talk about some of the things about moms specifically that to me just scream like, wow, this is why being a mom slash woman is like so powerful. And I don't think people really like give some of these things credit or realize that these things make women like incredible and superhuman because I really think that women are superhuman. So yeah, I think one, and these are all things too, like that I feel like for me, I resonated with them, but I was able to kind of like think back and think about like my mom or people again who are kind of like mother figures to me and think about how these were definitely things that they were dealing with too. One of those being like the invisible workload. So we always talk about like the mental load. And I've even like talked to Matthew about this. Like sometimes it's not even the physical workload, it's the mental workload. So when you're a mom, and I mean, even as kind of like a wife and just like someone who's kind of running the household, you have the like mental load of, okay, like what are we eating for dinner this week? Like, what meals is my kid gonna have, especially if they don't go to daycare. So, like, my son, whom I have a nanny and like he stays here, I have to think about like what is he gonna eat, those types of things, because I gotta provide them. Um, Even like this evening, I had to do like the grocery order for this week and like meals and stuff like that, which, um, Matthew helped me with and stuff. But just those things, like I think about that in a whole is what boggles me down. Like, is everything that we need here in the house? Do we have everything that we need to like live through the week? Oh, we're running out of this. Okay, I need to also get this. Oh, this is really stuff that I need from Sam's Club, but I really need to wait until I need a few more things. So should I get this from somewhere else or should I just go ahead and do a Sam's order? Like all of those things are things that moms are doing that are like they're it's not talked about. It's you can't necessarily see it in the moment, like all the things going through their brain or like for example, when you have really young kids, like for me right now, when the dude turned a year old, they're supposed to get off of formula and transition to whole milk or some type of, milk substitute. And you have to figure out how to wean them off formula bottles or breast milk and then introduce whole milk and like watch to make sure that it's going to be okay. Just kind of like when you start introducing solids. So, like, all of those things that you have to keep track of and like have a mental file folder of, okay, today I did 3 ounces of formula and 2 ounces of whole milk, and that was super tolerable. Like, we're going to keep that up for a couple more days and then we're going to increase, all of those things. You can't see them. You can't see the pressure that a woman is going through inside to make sure that she's somehow making all the right decisions for her family and also for like her mental sanity. Um, and then the, like, constant worry of, like, is what I'm doing right? Um, I love my pediatrician and, like, the whole office, like, they give you lots of pamphlets and things like that, so they're really helpful, but your pediatrician can't answer everything for you. Your pediatrician can't decide how you're gonna run your family and your household and those types of things, like, those are all things that you have to do, like, and if you're a single mom, like, alone with no one to kind of help guide you and aid you in your decisions and tell you like, I don't really think that's a great idea, or like, oh no, like we should do that. So number one on why moms are so badass is the invisible workload that they carry and how well they carry it, and you just don't even know. I think going into that too, there is also like the physical toll of it. Right now, dude, since my son has been 6 months old, he has been in like the 95th plus percentile. So my back fucking hurts. So there's like just that little snippet of physical toll, but like let's talk about just being pregnant in general. So this would more so relate to women who have like actually given birth or been pregnant in like some capacity. Um But when I was pregnant, I gained 70 pounds. 70 pounds, you guys. My body completely changed. I didn't even like know who I was. And then even after giving birth, like you don't bounce back. Contrary to popular belief, you have to work hard to get back to where you were before and or better than you were before. Uh, and then if you're breastfeeding, like all of those things physically drain you and then change who you outwardly look like as a human being and feel like as a human being too. Um, reason number two why women are badass. I just think the fact that one, like women, like the whole childbirthing experience just should make you a superhero. like, just it's kind of like, what is it? Like when famous people get, like an honorary, like, this is I don't know why I'm thinking of Ridiculousness and Rob Dyrdek, but, like, it's Rob Dyrdek Day or whatever. Like, moms should I mean, here I am saying that, and now I'm about to sound contradictory because it's like, "Well, there is Mother's Day, Fallon." No, like, there should just literally be a thing for women where it's like, "Oh, you gave birth? Now you have this plaque that says that you're a superhero." Because that shit is really physically tolling and just changes who you are as a human being. Like, even if you don't want it to, because hormones. Haha. um, and then the emotional roller coaster of being a mom, um, or like a mother figure, like the constant highs and lows, especially after you first give birth. Like, you're so happy that this like tiny little human being is like on the planet and that you created this awesome thing, but like you're getting negative hours of sleep and like you want to cry constantly and like there's no yes, there's like baby books and there's, how-to books, but like again, no one can sit there and tell you exactly how to parent your kid. You can read all the books in the world, but not everything is still going to be applicable to your kid or work for your family. So like you have these constant up and downs and like, you know, in the beginning for me, like going out or having a date night and doing things like that, like the intense guilt if I did those things like before he went to bed. And I've talked about this in an episode before, I think, where I used to, like, if I was going to go do anything, it would not be before he went to bed because I was like, no, I have to be there. Like, when he goes to bed, like, I have to say goodnight, like, or I'm a terrible mom. That is so not true. But as a mom, like you feel those things. And I remember when I like would first start like going to do errands on my own or just like going to have a day on my own and I would be like leaving the house and like looking at Matthew and I'd be like, are you mad at me right now? Like are you going to hate me? And he's like, "What are you talking about?" Um so like you have like this intense guilt about being selfish sometimes. And it shouldn't be that way, but because of the world that we live in now, it's like, no, you're a shitty mom if you don't like spend every single waking moment with your child. And it's like, can we like go back and like reflect on like our parents? My mom was not with me 24/7, and that did not make me love her any less. I love that woman. I would have jumped in front of a bus for that woman. Like, it, I just think that some of those things society's got to chill on. But then there's like this immense joy in being a mother. And especially like, I feel like once they aren't potatoes anymore and they like get personalities and they become human beings, it's just like right now, I just like love watching the dude be the dude. And every day, like he's doing something different and he's learning something. And it's just like, I could like, wow, I created that. Like, that's pretty fucking cool. Um, and then like frustration because, I think even when your kids are teenagers, like it's going to be frustrating to be a mom or and being a parent in general because it's like, "Ugh, stop, stop." Um, So you have this like in even in one day, you can have a range of emotions from like uber highs to uber lows. And no, you're not bipolar. You're just a mom living with the day-to-day emotions and things that come with being that. Um, and that in and of itself is badass as well. Um, Also like kind of going off of the emotion things is like this innate, it's like animalistic almost, uh, need you get to protect, like, your youth, you're young. Um, I and I when I was thinking about this, I was thinking about when I was a kid, and I wanna say I was in maybe, like, 1st grade, and the kids used to always make fun of me and my name, and they would be like, "Ha Valentine's Day." First of all, why was I really that hurt over that? But, when you're a kid, like, things really hurt your feelings. Um, but this, like, one little boy, like, would never leave me alone about it, and he was always, like, picking on me and pissing me off, and so, like, I literally punched him on the playground one day, um, and got sent to the office. My mom got called up there, blah, 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 and I just remember her coming into the office and, like, them kind of going over the scenario, and she was like, "Okay, well, where's the boy?" And they're like, "Um, Miss Kelly, like, we just told you that your daughter punched someone." And she's like, "Right, but you also told me he's been picking on her for quite some time and was picking on her, so where is he?" And I was like, "Oh, not saying that that's a prime example of how to be a great protector for your kids, because was I in the wrong? 100%. Should not have been punching little boys, but I think about if, like, I got a call from my son and it was a similar situation, I'd be coming in there with the same energy, and, like, just already how protective I have been of him, and then this, like, life we're creating for him, it's like, you are not allowed to be in his life if you are not going to treat him like a king and give him, like, all the love and attention in the world and make him feel like he is just, like, the coolest human being ever, because if that's not the energy you're bringing, I don't want you around him. Like, I only want good positive vibes, like happiness for him. I just have this, like, such, like, intense need to protect him and keep him, like, safe and happy and thriving, and anything that I feel like is infringing upon that, I'm like, "Ah, no, this will not happen." Um, and I think that that's, again, just goes to show how cool, like, nature also is, because, like, that's, like, evolution right there. Like, that part didn't go away when we evolved, because, I mean, most animals protect their, young in similar ways. So, I don't know, I just think it's pretty dope that we have, like, this animalistic instinct to be this, like, fierce protector of our young as well, and it never goes away. Like, I know my mother-in-law, like, would literally, like, you try to badmouth her kids, like, she's gonna go to war, and, like, as you should for your kids, like, you should never not be trying to protect your children from, like, what you feel like is not okay. Uh, so I love that about moms. And I think that that is so important to have, like, as a kid as well. And I don't think that, like, yes, I think dads are have a little bit of that component in them, but I don't think it's as intense as moms, because y as a mom, like, you already have such a different type of attachment to your child because you gave birth to them, or, like, even if you didn't give birth to them, there's something with your hormones and things like that that just make you so instinctively ready to pounce on anything that you don't feel is right. And that's a queen move right there. Um, I think it's also, like, speaks mounds to how resilient and adaptable moms are, because what are you saying, that, like, moms can figure it out within 2 weeks after having a kid, like, how to function and how to, like, rearrange their life and care for this baby and, like, and make sure that they're living too and, their partner is, okay and all of these things. It's crazy. Um, and the changes that are constantly, like, coming and evolving and, like, your kids are constantly changing, therefore you have to constantly change and adapt and be ready for the next thing. Like, there is no, like, this is the status quo, this is what it's always gonna be. That's just not a thing. Um, so I think it's pretty cool that moms are just, like, able to get with the program on a flip of a switch. Uh, I also want to kind of talk about, which I talked about it a little bit earlier, but, like, this notion that social media pulls out, like, with guilting you if you want breaks from your kids, guilting you if, you're not with your kids every, like, second of the day, or this bullshit about, like, "Oh, like, dad's babysitting? Are you joking right now?" Oh, that one, like, really gets me going because I'm like, "That's so crazy." This is 50% his child too, so he's not babysitting. He's watching his kid. Uh, would you call it babysitting while I watch my kid? No, you wouldn't. Uh, so, like, social media having this, like, idea of, like, what this perfect mom is, well, again, like, there is no such thing as a perfect human being at all. So, why do we expect there to be perfect moms? Because you can't be perfect as a human being, so how can you be perfect as a mom? You're gonna mess up, you're gonna do things wrong. There's gonna be one day where you, like, at the end of the day are like, oh, there's, like, like, I feel like I see the day, like, in film, and I'm like, "Oh, I should have done this differently, I should have done this differently, I should have reacted this way to this or that way to this," because there is this intense pressure to do it right and to make sure that, like, you're being as perfect as possible, but again, you can't be. And so I just want to put it out there for people who are like me, who, like, on a day-to-day basis, I still struggle with the idea of, like, I'm not good enough, like, I didn't like, I'm not a good mom, like, I don't like, someone better, like, could somebody else could do my job better, and that's not true because nobody else could do your job better because you know your kid best, and, like, you love your kid, and you're not intentionally doing things to harm them, um, so you're amazing. You're perfect in my eyes, and I'm gonna, like, speak that into existence for myself. I think and, like, even in this aspect, I think about my own mom who had, so many demons and so many things that she was struggling with on a daily basis, but I thought she was perfect. I still think that she's perfect. Like, I aspire to have my son love me the way that I loved her. Because there was nothing she could have done that would have made me question if she loved me, and I think that's all that really matters, and look, here I am getting, like, teary-eyed, but I think seriously, though, that is all that matters at the end of the day, like, can your kid say without a fraction of a doubt that, like, they know that their mom loves them and they know that they're safe with their mom and they know that their mom is never gonna do anything to intentionally hurt them and is always gonna make sure that they're well taken care of. If your kid can say all of those things, like, you you're doing amazing, sweetie. Kris Jenner with her little video camera. Um, so the pressure that the world puts on you, like, drown it out. Drown it the fuck out because you could be struggling every single day and your kid still thinks you hung the moon, and that's all that matters. That is 1,000,000% all that matters at the end of the day. Okay, let me try to, like not get super emotional again. I was wondering if I was gonna cry, and I was pretty close there, you guys. You almost got me. Um, and I think one more thing I wanna note before I kind of read some of these personal anecdotes, mine included, um, is mom should be celebrated every single day. There should not just be one single day where you are honoring your mom and, like, giving her, like, all this love and attention. You should be doing that on a daily basis and, like, letting her know how loved she is on a daily basis. Um, I mean, mentally, in, like, in kind of like a spiritual type way, I feel like I do this with my mom almost daily, where it's like, "I love you," like, or if I'm doing something with my son, like, I'll, like, think of her and kind of, like, mentally say something to her, like, "I just know that you would love this so much," like, you know? Or, like, with my mother-in-law, like, I always try to make sure that, like, she knows that we love her and we appreciate her and that she's the best Grammy ever and we would die without her, because she steps in and helps so much and fills in so many gaps for us. And I don't wanna just make that be one day a year that the people who have been moms to me, bonus moms, my aunts, my, grandmothers, my great grandmother who's passed now. And this is my first Mother's Day without her as well. Like all of those people, never would Mother's Day be the only day that I feel like is the day I'm singing their praises because I was singing their praises Monday through freaking Sunday. 24/7, 7 my brain 24/7, 7 days a week, like, no joke. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Jeez Louise. Um, so, yeah, I just all that to say, I think moms are great. I think bonus moms are great, and you're doing amazing. What anybody says to you that is not that, they don't matter. So, okay. I'm going to. I don't think I'm gonna read all of them, because like, I wanna kinda chat about some of them, so I don't know if I'll have time, but I'll read the ones that really just hit me in my feels, and I'll tell you mine too. So, one of the questions I had was, "What's one thing your mom has done for you that has had a lasting impact on your life?" So, I will say for myself, um and this was kind of hard, like, I my friend Kaylee even did, she was like, "Why did you make these questions so hard?" And I'm like, "Actually, like, I kinda thought I made them easy," but then even when I was answering them myself, I was like, Wait, this is hard." I do think for me, it was a little bit harder because I was trying to answer it from the perspective of, like, my actual mom, and she died when I was 9, so, like, like, I have to really dig deep into my memory sources, um, to think about what these things are. But for me, it was that she always put me first and made sure that I was happy and my needs were met. Like, that has had a lasting impact on my life because there were other people in my life once she passed that did not always put me first and did not always make sure my needs were met and that I was happy. But I could always remember that my mom did do that, and she was a badass for doing so. Yes. Okay. Um, Another person answered, "Always stuck up for other women." I fucking love that because what a queen to not be, like, tearing other women down and to be, like, showing your child that, like, even though you may not have anything to do with these people, you should still be sticking up for them. Um, Another one, When she would sit with me in silence while I was coming down from my panic attacks, she knew I wasn't ready to talk, so she would just sit with me and wait patiently. That one's gonna get my feels going, but I feel like that goes back to, like, moms just being this, like, fierce, like, mama bear, and also just, like, the invisible workload, like, mom's intuition and just knowing what their kids need and knowing, like, how to be there for them and not push and just, like, be in the moment and know that, like, you're protecting your kids. They know that you're gonna be there for them. I love that so much. Always made sure I had homemade chicken noodle soup when I'm sick. I don't know why that one got me, like, so emotional when I was reading these, but I was like, "Yeah, that's so sweet." Um, but it is, like, that's such a mom thing, like, "Mom, I'm sick," like, or, like, when you're a kid, like, and you you threw up and you walk into "Mom, I threw up." But, like, that's so sweet. Like, again, when we're thinking about lasting impact on your life, I talked about it in the episode with Victoria, but statistics show and research show that the things that matter most to kids are the basic necessities in life. Obviously, being fed and having water and, like, not and being taken care of in that aspect, but also, like, being nurtured, and whether that means, like, on a good day or on a bad day, like, knowing that my mom's gonna take care of me. Boom. Knowing that, "Oh my gosh, when I'm sick, I always know that mom's gonna take care of me. She's gonna nurse me back to health." I think that one kinda got me a little bit because obviously, like, I there was only so many years of that I got with my mom. Not to say that my bonus moms didn't step in and fill that void. My nanny used to love to make me chicken dumplings, um, and they were so good, my favorite. Love you, nanny. Okay, always push me to be myself and encourage travels and exploring. That's so badass. Because I feel like too, sometimes I know, like, with people I've talked to, like, they always, like, felt an intense pressure from their mom to be something that their, like, mom wanted them to be, but the fact that this person's mom was just like, "Live your life and find yourself and, like, do the things in life that, like, I couldn't do or didn't get to do yet. I want you to do them." Pop off, sis. That's a true queen right there. Um, okay. There's more, but I wanna get to the other questions. Okay. What's one of your happiest or most special memories involving your mom? So for me, my mom and I used to always go see Cirque du Soleil, and I just thought that that was the coolest thing in the world. I used to tell her, like, "I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this." And she's like, "Okay." But, like, that was always our thing, because where we lived in Mississippi, about an hour and a half away, there was usually always, like, once a year at least, a show. So we would go, like, for the day. It would be, like, a mommy-daughter date. We would get sushi and, like, do all of those things, and I just love that. I also last night, I watched Blue Crush, which, again, cinematic masterpiece, truly, but that movie is, like, such a special memory for me that is tied to my mom too. Like, I could never watch that movie and not think of her and not think of, um, Penny, who had, like, the cornrows and stuff, and I begged her for months on ends to get cornrows, and she was like, "No, baby, we can't do that." Um, but yeah, like, those are just, like, core memories that I know, like, if I like, my little inside out characters in my mind, like, I know that's on my core memory little carousel. Okay. Um, I know who did this one. When she became a grandmother to a baby girl and all her dreams came true. I'm just gonna out Dylan for this. Dylan's mom has two sons, Dylan and his brother, and she always wanted a girl, and so now she has a granddaughter, and she's living her best life. She's a grandma for sure. Uh, but I love that that's like a special memory with Dylan's mom is like getting to see her evolve into like grandma mode and like feeling like that's awesome for her. Um Most recently, it's experiencing everything with her and my son, getting to see a glimpse of how she was with me in my childhood. Love that. I think that's one of the things that I miss the most, like at this time period of my life, not having my mom. Another one, zip lining over alligators in Orlando. We were just bored and said, why not? We laughed the entire time and ate chocolate covered bananas. I love that. Um, when my dad left for work in the morning, he would pick me up to put me in their bed so I could snuggle with my mom and watch Lifetime. I love that so much. I can relate to because my mom would like if she was like not feeling like going to work one day, she'd be like, "Do you want to stay home today?" And be like, "Is that a question? Yes, I want to stay home today." And we would watch like all the soap operas all day on TV. Um, Core memory unlocked. Another person says, so many in my adult life, we've become best friends. We love a good TJ Maxx trip or thrifting. Yes, I love that. I do that with my grandmother. So, okay, next question. What's an example of your mother showing you what unconditional love truly means? Mine I'll go ahead and go with mine. So, obviously, my mom passed when I was 9, but I really feel like she showed me unconditional love in those 9 years by always putting me first. Her and my dad were divorced when I was 2, and even through their, like, terrible relationship and his unkindness, she always protected me. She always stayed neutral. She never involved me in their issues, never painted him in a bad light, even though, like, looking back on it, I wish in some ways that she would, um, because of some of the things I experienced. However, she was not gonna be able to know that. In her mind, what she was doing was, like, supporting me and making sure that, like, I knew that I was her everything, and she was gonna like, shove everything else aside to make sure that I had whatever it was that I needed and whoever it was that I needed to love me. So, that's fine. Um, Someone else said she made it to where I never questioned her love for me or her support for me. Uh, uh, this one's obviously, again, sorry, Dylan, but this is hard for it not to be you. When I came home one day in college after coming out and she had decorated my bathroom with rainbow towels to show her support. I love that. Granny Janie. Oh, um, intuition. She knows things I'm about to tell her before I even do it. What did I say? What did I say? Moms are freaking insane with their intuition. Um, Making sure I always have everything. Oh, sorry, you guys. Even when it means she would go without things that she wants. I mean, that's like, I do that right now too. Uh, like I don't, I have like tattered pajamas, but it's like, oh no, the dude needs some more pajamas. Does not need more pajamas. Um, but it's like, no, I would rather do for him any day now than do for myself. I think that's just like what being a mom does to you. Providing love and support even in times of anger or disapproval. Yeah. Another one, this one's sad. She was always there. We spent a good 80% of the time in the hospital with her. And when she was home, she had to use a walker and get home infusions, but she still made time to do arts and crafts, watch Charmed, and even taught me how to sew so we can make a mermaid Halloween costume for me. Um, Another one, by loving my father. They have not had the perfect marriage by any means, but she would stand by him no matter what. Yeah, I mean, I think you can learn a lot about love through your parents' relationships if they're still together. And even if they're not still together, you can learn a lot about love that way, and ways not to love, or ways in which love can be blinding and not what it needs to be. So I love that. Um, so this one is definitely like super niche. Only a few people were able to answer this one, but if your mother has passed, what aspect of the relationship you might have now do you find yourself missing the most? So obviously for me, earlier this week I was sitting back on our back deck and was just vibing and listening to music, had my citronella candle going, and I was just sitting there like thinking like, this really sucks. Like I don't I don't want to be doing this without her. Like she would love this so much. So I miss that. There's so many things that I miss. So this one was really hard for me to answer actually. Um, a simple one too of just being able to pick up the phone and call her. Uh, for a while when she had first died, and like we didn't have her phone disconnected or anything. I remember even as a kid I would call her number. And then even after we disconnected it, like nobody, had gotten the number yet. So I would still call it just to hear that it said it was disconnected. Now, obviously, somebody has that phone number. So, but yeah, it just sucks, like because sometimes there's just stupid things you want to tell your mom or there's whatever. Like I said, I like do have my mental combos with her, but it would be lovely to have a back and forth conversation with her. Thankfully, I have a medium who I really love and who's amazing and wonderful and kind of facilitates that conversation with her, but it's still not the same. It will never be the same. Um, Another one for me, I think just in general, all of the big milestones in life have been tough to not have her for, but for sure when I was going through trying to get pregnant and then being pregnant and then giving birth and then like having my baby, I think giving birth for sure. Damn. Okay. I think giving birth for sure was really hard because you never like don't imagine your mom like sitting there and holding your hand and telling you that you're doing a good job and like cheering you on as you bring life into the world. So that was really tough and depressing for me, even though it's like such a happy time to not feel so sad because she's not there. So I always like try to think back, like in times like that, I always try to like remind myself, like, she is here though. Like, I just can't see her. And I actually did recently like have a session with my medium, and like it's like I love these sessions because it's again like my mom already knows essentially what I want to talk about. So like one of the first things that she passed over was like, talking about the boat day we had gone on and stuff and me getting burnt, and she was like, she's trying to show you that she's with you. Like she's, and she's doing her grandma duties. Like she's with you. You just can't see her. So I have to remind myself of that a lot. Okay. Another person said, I think it's a lot of the big moments in life and having a woman figure to look up to. I know when I have a baby, not having her will be so hard and I will miss out on having that relationship and bond with her. Clearly I just oh my god, I have snot on my mic. Clearly I just proved that to be true. And I like feel for everyone who has had to go through that, 'cause it fucking sucks, but know that you will get through it. Someone said, "I do still have my mom, but I will miss that she has the uncanny ability to know exactly what I need before I even know." Um, yeah. Another one said, "Seeing her be a grandma to the spawn." And I do like, that's another thing for me too. Like, it's just, yeah, I don't have her here right now. She's not here to see my son grow up. She's not here to physically be with me. I can remind myself, you know, every single day, like, okay, but she's here. Okay, but she's here. But she's not. And that sucks. And nobody should have to go through like formative years, I think, without their mom. I think it sucks for anybody to lose their mom. Unfortunately, I do think it is kind of inevitable, because on the flip side, l- you wouldn't want to go before your mom. That would be so hard to do to your mom, but losing them young and not having them for like huge milestones in life and getting to like see them grow into like other roles in life too, just as you grow, is so tough. Um, and I would not wish it on my worst enemy, because like I've talked about before too, grief is fucking crazy. Um, you'll be fine, and then all of a sudden you're not fine, and then on the one day you think that you're going to not be okay, you are okay, and then like it's just crazy. All that to say, I don't want to get too like super depressing into like me. Um, but I really loved a lot of those responses to my little forum, and I think again it just goes to show like so many of the points that I like pointed out. Moms are so resilient and so badass and just have the ability to conquer all. They are superwomen. Um, and like, I love that I'm a part of this club now, and that I am also healing a part of me that was broken when I lost my mom. Like, I'm getting to heal that part by being a mom, and by getting to understand how much like joy and love was just exuding out of her on a daily basis. Because yeah, it's really hard, and I don't know if I will, like, be a mom again, because it is really hard, and I want to make sure I do it right, and I wanna make sure I am patient and kind and nurturing and all the things that I got, so I don't know if I'll be able to do that for 2, but I'll do it for 1 for now and forever, no matter what. Um and enjoy doing it, because I get to I already did create this amazing human being, and now I get to mold him to continue to be an amazing human being and go out into the world and, add some substance into the world and add some humanity back into the world. So, shout out to all you moms in whatever form you come in. You're doing amazing, sweetie. And I hope that you all had a wonderful Mother's Day. I sure did. Alrighty, you guys. This was kind of a heavy episode, but I also think it was a really great episode. And I hope that you guys all enjoyed it. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to follow me on my socials at Feral Thoughts Pod. You can find me on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. And if you liked this episode and you like the pod, don't be afraid to subscribe, follow, and like or rate the show. Until next time, bye, rats.